So y'all remember that game Telephone? You were hanging out on the playground in 2nd grade and Susie told Billy that she had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and Billy ran off and told his friends that something had happened, and it went to somebody else, and it went to somebody else, and by the time it ever got to you, Kevin's mom was taking a shower with the mailman. Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a shower with the mailman. No, not really. He's not my type, but we're going to take a recipe that we found, and we're going to change it up a bit, and we're just going to keep the core in place, but it'll be a different thing. The other day, Michelle was looking around at tastespotting.com, and she found this awesome picture of a Tuscan roasted pork tenderloin. She clicked on the link, and it took her over to Once Upon a Plate. And Once Upon a Plate listed a recipe from Joanne Weir, which just looked awesome. The pork tenderloin roasted inside of a piece of bread and coated in herbs, and what's not to like about it? But here in Tampa, we were settled by a large population of Cuban, Spanish, and Italian people, and their foods cross lines all the time. So we thought we were going to take that recipe, we're going to go do away with the classic Italian herbs, and we're going to put a little Cuban bent on it. So we took the pork tenderloin and we marinated it in some Mojo Criollo. I love saying that. And I have to say that the marketing people at Iberia are geniuses, because this little caveman guy on the label is the only reason that I ever bought this. I love him. So we've got our pork ready, we've got bread ready to stuff it in, and well, let's heat up the kitchen. Alright, so we got our pork tenderloin here. We're just going to coat it in a little sea salt and some black pepper. We dried this off, and it's been sitting out at room temperature for about 10 or 15 minutes. This just helps the meat relax a little bit before you throw it into a hot pan. We have a very hot pan here. And add a little olive oil. We're going to take one of our pork tenderloins, and we're going to sear it off. How do you tell if the pan's hot enough? Does it make that sound? Well, if it doesn't make that sound, get it out of the pan. Season the other side real quick. And what we want to do is just make sure that it's nice and brown and crispy on all the sides. Alright, we've got a baguette that we've sliced in half through the top and scooped all of the inside out of, so that it's going to fit all the pork loin. Tenderloin, actually. We're going to take a little bit of manchego cheese, sprinkle it on the insides. This is a nod to our Spanish ancestry, and mean old Mr. Gravity is putting it on the floor for me. Then we're going to take some onions. We sweat a white onion and a red onion, let them caramelize just a little bit, because pork and onion just go absolutely fantastic together. Why pigs don't eat onions, I don't understand, because it's just meant to be in nature. So we'll fill the bottom. Then we'll put our pork tenderloin inside. Then, since this bread is too long to fit our pork tenderloin inside, we're going to trim off the empty spaces, because it's just not going to be all that good if it doesn't have pork and cheese and onions inside. Cast these off to the side, and now we're going to tie this up into a nice neat bundle. I just spent the last 5 minutes tying up this piece of bread like a roast, like your butcher would. And it's important that we keep all this together so that the bread doesn't spread out and dry up. And, you know, it looks pretty impressive, but I highly doubt that any of you really want to go through the time and effort of doing this yourselves. We have a better idea. Instead of going through the whole tie this up like a butcher would a roast with cotton twine and whatnot, we have these babies. These are silicone rubber bands, for lack of a better description. They withstand up to 500 degrees in the oven. And we're just going to slide them around here so that we can keep all of this closed. Into a preheated 350 degree oven. We'll leave it there for about 35 to 40 minutes. And that's about okay. Well, we cooked this for about 35 to 40 minutes. Took a thermometer, checked the thickest part of the pork tenderloin, and when it read 150 degrees, it was time to pull it out. We let it sit on the cutting board for about 10 minutes, let it rest. Now we're just going to pull these rubber bands off and slice the guy up. Look at that, we've got beautiful pork nestled inside a bed of onions. We've got some manchego cheese. All the flavor of the pork is cooked into the bread. While we're cutting this, I wish you could smell what's coming off of here right now. We've got the rich smell of the pork, we've got the caramelized onions, we've got the cheese, we've got the smell of the Mojo marinade. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?